Church bells rang out and nearby a mosque issued a call to prayer. Crowds gathered in the port area to pay their respects as the names of the victims were displayed and read out as part of the ceremony. Meanwhile, Lebanon remains beset by problems. Despite the resignation of the entire cabinet earlier this week, demonstrators are calling for a complete overhaul of the country's political system. For more on this, I'm joined now by Fawaz Shejez, a professor of international relations at London School of Economics. Thank you very much for your time. So I just mentioned there the demands of the protesters. It seems as though the entire cabinet stepping down isn't enough. How do you see this developing in a way that there could be some sort of peace or harmony back on the streets?
Well, the demands of the protesters are not really about forming a new cabinet. What the people want is a new political system. They want a system based on citizenship. They want a political system based on transparency, a system that's not really systematically corrupt, a system that does not really serve the interest of the ruling elite. And for your own viewers, Lebanon has witnessed major protests in the past year or so. Millions of Lebanese, 2 million Lebanese have protested. I am extremely skeptical if the social and political elite are willing and have the desire to really overhaul the system. So my take on it, you're going to have turmoil. You're going to have a political void in Lebanon for the next few months. It's a major social struggle and collective action, a kind of really a challenge for the people of Lebanon to force the elites to accept some of their legitimate demands.
So you talk about a political void. There's also clearly a leadership void right now. Who will step in the short term to take over?
Well, what you have now, the cabinet has resigned, is a caretaker government. My take on it is that this caretaker government can take care of business for the next few months, even a year. The only difficulty is that it does not really have a major authority. It cannot really make some major substantive decisions. It cannot really coordinate the humanitarian aid coming to the country. It cannot negotiate with the international banking system, IMF, and the World Bank in order to really bring resources because the economy has basically collapsed. It cannot institute any major reforms. So what you really have is quite a very weak caretaker government. And what you have is a vacuum of power. Even though you have a president and you have a caretaker government, this government does not have the ability to really help to overcome the systemic crisis that has struck Lebanon.
Thank you very much, Professor Fawaz Shejez from the London School of Economics.